Just last year, the sometimes rapper alleged that he was physically abusive towards her, even sharing with the world security camera footage of him attacking her.
Hey guys, you're not gonna believe what I'm about to share with you today. We're diving into something that's absolutely mind-blowing. I'm talking about how Bhad Bhabie just completely changed the game. Listen, when I tell you she's made more money than most people see in 10 lifetimes, I'm not exaggerating. We're talking about someone who went from being a meme to a multimillionaire, and the numbers are going to shock you. But before we get into all that crazy stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up on this channel. The tea I'm about to spill is scalding hot.
So I don't know my mom is a very narcissistic person. And you know, narcissists, they like a crowd. Figuratively and literally, they like a crowd.
So picture this, a teenager who became famous from a Dr. Phil episode, right? Fast forward a few years, and she's sitting on a fortune that would make most celebrities jealous. We're talking about someone who completely flipped the script on everyone who doubted her. And today, we're breaking down exactly how she did it, what she's doing with all that money, and why this might be the most impressive come-up story we've seen in years. All right, let's get into these insane numbers because they're going to blow your mind. When Bhad Bhabie first launched her OF account, she didn't just do well. She absolutely shattered records. We're talking about making $1 million in just 6 hours. SX hours, guys. But wait, it gets even crazier. In just 24 hours, that number shot up to $4 million. Now, most people would be happy with that kind of success and call it a day, right? But this story is just getting started. Because when she recently revealed her total earnings, everyone's jaws hit the floor. We're talking about $75 million total. That's not a typo. $75 million, but here's what makes this story even more fascinating. Instead of blowing through this money like we've seen so many young stars do, she's been making some seriously smart moves. She's investing in properties, making calculated business decisions, and completely transforming her lifestyle in ways nobody expected. Let's talk about how she's actually living now, because this is where things get really interesting. Remember that wild teenager everyone used to mock? Well, she's completely flipped the script. She's now a mom, living in a multi-million-dollar mansion, and her daily routine would shock anyone who knew her back then. Instead of chasing clout and getting into social media beef, she's out here making power moves. We're talking about multiple properties, and not just any properties. She's got spots in some of the most exclusive areas you can imagine. And her car collection? Let me tell you about this Maybach she's got. This isn't just any regular luxury car. We're talking about a vehicle that costs more than most people's houses. But here's what's really fascinating about all this. She's not just throwing money around. She's actually living a surprisingly down-to-earth life considering her wealth. Like, she recently shared how she spends her time cooking tacos at home, just being a mom, and enjoying the simple things. This isn't the flashy, in-your-face lifestyle you might expect from someone who made millions so young. And get this, she's actually become pretty selective about who she hangs out with. She's cut off a lot of people who were just there for the clout and surrounded herself with folks who actually care about her growth. That's the kind of maturity nobody saw coming. Now, let's break down something that most people aren't talking about. The actual business genius behind all this. Everyone's focused on the shocking numbers, but they're missing the real story here. This isn't just about making money. It's about how she's turned her entire brand into an empire. Think about it. She took what could have been a 15 minutes of fame moment and transformed it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. She's diversified her income streams like someone with decades of business experience. We're not just talking about social media revenue anymore. She's got real estate investments that are bringing in serious passive income, smart business partnerships that actually make sense for her brand. And she's been strategic about every single move. What's even more impressive is how she's managed her public image throughout all this. Instead of letting others control her narrative, she's taken complete control of her story.
Yeah, I love Nicki. It's just like I prefer Cardi more.
Right. What do you think it is about Cardi that you like more than Nicki?
Because it's newer. I grew up listening to Nicki, so it's something new.
She's been transparent about her earnings, which is pretty rare in this industry. Most celebrities try to keep their finances under wraps, but she's out here laying it all on the table. And here's something that'll really make you think. She's actually turned down deals that would have made her quick money because they didn't align with her long-term goals. That's the kind of foresight you rarely see from someone who got famous so young. Let's get real for a minute because this next part is crucial. A lot of people look at these numbers and think it's all sunshine and rainbows, but there's a whole other side to this story that needs to be addressed. Making this kind of money at such a young age comes with its own set of challenges. First off, let's talk about the pressure. Imagine having to make major financial decisions when you're barely old enough to drink. We're talking about managing millions of dollars while most people your age are still figuring out their college majors. She's had to grow up fast and learn things that most people don't deal with until they're much older. But here's where she's really surprised everyone. Her approach to mental health and personal growth. Instead of letting the money change her core values, she's used it to create stability. She's invested in therapy, surrounded herself with financial advisors, and actually listened to people who know more than her. That's rare, especially in the entertainment industry. And let's talk about motherhood for a second. Being a young mom is challenging enough, but try doing it while managing a multi-million-dollar empire. She's been super open about how becoming a mother changed her perspective on everything, from how she spends her money to who she allows in her inner circle. The way she handles criticism now is completely different too. Remember when she used to clap back at every little comment? Now she's letting her success do the talking. That's the kind of growth you love to see? All right, let's dive into something that's seriously impressive, her investment strategy. Because this isn't just about making money, it's about building generational wealth. She's thinking way beyond the next few years, and that's what sets her apart from other young stars. When most people hear about her real estate portfolio, they probably imagine a couple of fancy houses. But we're talking about strategic property investments across multiple markets. She's got residential properties, sure, but she's also looking into commercial real estate. That's next level thinking right there. What's really wild is how she's diversified her investments. She's not putting all her eggs in one basket. She's spreading them across different sectors. And get this, she's actually taking time to understand these investments. She's not just throwing money at things because someone told her to, she's doing her homework.
Music has always been an escape for me, so it's what I love to do, so it always feels good.
Remember those stories about celebrities going broke after making millions? Well, she's doing everything possible to make sure that doesn't happen to her. She's got financial advisors, investment managers, and a whole team helping her make smart decisions. But here's the key, she's not just blindly following their advice. She's actively learning about finance and investment strategies, and let's talk about her business ventures outside of social media. She's been quietly building a portfolio of investments in different industries. We're not talking about random endorsement deals. These are calculated moves that could pay off big time in the long run. Now, let me paint you a picture of how drastically things have changed in her daily life. We're not just talking about material upgrades. This is a complete lifestyle transformation that nobody saw coming. Remember when she was all about the drama and constant social media presence? These days, she's more likely to be found at home, cooking up something in her kitchen or spending quality time with her kid. She's traded in the constant public appearances for a more balanced life, and honestly, it's working for her. The way she travels now is different too.
Before I was famous, I was still not like everyone else. My name was always in someone's mouth. Someone always liked me. Someone always hated me.
Instead of just flexing on the gram, she's actually experiencing places. She's taking time to learn about different cultures, trying local cuisines, and creating memories rather than just content. That's the kind of growth that money can't buy. It comes from a genuine desire to evolve as a person. Her home life is particularly interesting. Despite having a mansion that most people could only dream of, she keeps things surprisingly normal. She's not about having a house full of staff doing everything for her. Instead, she's hands-on with her day-to-day life, whether that's cooking meals or taking care of her kid. And let's talk about her circle, because this is crucial. She's completely restructured who she allows in her life. Gone are the yes people and clout chasers. Now, she's surrounded by individuals who challenge her to grow, who bring value to her life beyond just entertainment. She's building relationships with successful entrepreneurs, learning from people who've maintained their wealth over decades. Let's talk about where all this is heading, because the future looks absolutely wild. Based on her current trajectory and smart money moves, we're probably looking at someone who could hit the billion-dollar mark before she's 30. Yeah, you heard that right. But what's really fascinating is how she's planning for the long game. She's not just thinking about next year or even the next 5 years. She's setting up structures that could benefit her family for generations. We're talking about trust funds, investment portfolios, and business ventures that could keep growing long after she steps back from the spotlight. The way she's approaching her brand evolution is genius too.
The girls that wanted to be friends with me in school, to get me to be around them, to get me to say something back to them.
Instead of staying in the same lane that made her famous, she's carefully crafting a new image as a serious entrepreneur and businesswoman. She's starting to get invited to business conferences, investment summits, places where people talk billions, not millions. And check this out, she's actually studying successful business moguls who've maintained their wealth across decades. She's not just copying what they do, she's adapting their strategies to fit the modern digital age. That's the kind of forward thinking that separates the one-hit wonders from the long-term success stories. Her approach to new opportunities is calculated now. She's not jumping at every offer that comes her way. Instead, she's looking at each potential deal through the lens of long-term value. Will this still be profitable in 5 years, 10 years? That's the kind of thinking that builds empires. Here's something that's really worth talking about, the ripple effect she's having on the entire industry. Whether people want to admit it or not, She's completely changed the game for young entrepreneurs in the digital space. Think about this. She's created a blueprint for turning internet fame into legitimate business success. But it's not just about making money, it's about making smart money moves. Young influencers are watching her every move, taking notes on how she's diversifying her income and building sustainable wealth. The way she handles her public image now is a masterclass in personal brand evolution. She's not trying to erase her past. Instead, she's showing people what growth really looks like. From controversial teen to savvy businesswoman, that's the kind of transformation story that inspires others. But here's what's really interesting. She's becoming a voice for financial literacy among young people. When she talks about investments, property portfolios, and wealth management, her followers listen. She's making these complex financial concepts accessible to a generation that might not otherwise be interested in this stuff. And let's talk about how she's changing perceptions in the business world. She's proving that age is just a number when it comes to business acumen. She's in rooms with seasoned investors and entrepreneurs, holding her own and earning respect through her knowledge and decision-making skills. The impact she's having on young women in business is particularly significant. She's showing them that they can be unapologetically successful, that they can turn any platform into a launching pad for bigger things. Let's dive into something really powerful, the personal transformation that's happened alongside all this success. Because making millions is one thing, but completely reinventing yourself.
Well, the sample is from a song that my mom used to listen to when she was a kid, so I thought it was a really cool beat to go with. And then the lyrics were just made to just, have fun. That's all it's about, is having fun.
That's a whole different level of achievement. The way she carries herself now compared to just a few years ago is night and day. She's developed this quiet confidence that comes from knowing your worth isn't just tied to your bank account. We're seeing someone who's not just grown financially, but emotionally and mentally too. What's really striking is how she's handling motherhood. She's breaking down stereotypes about young moms, showing that you can balance being a present parent while building an empire. She's not trying to be perfect. She's real about the challenges, the late nights, the tough decisions. That authenticity is resonating with people in a major way. Her approach to self-improvement is something we don't talk about enough. She's invested in herself beyond just material things. We're talking about education, personal development, and building skills that no one can take away from her. She's taking courses, learning about business management, studying markets, all while running multiple ventures. The way she handles conflict now is particularly telling. Remember those viral moments where she'd get into heated arguments? Now she's mastered the art of strategic silence. She knows when to speak up and when to let her success do the talking. That's not just maturity. That's wisdom. And here's something really powerful. She's become incredibly selective about her energy. She's learned that time is the one resource you can't get back. So she's intentional about where she spends it. Whether it's business meetings, family time, or personal development, every hour is accounted for. All right, let's break down the biggest lessons from this whole journey, because there's so much gold here that everyone needs to hear. This isn't just about one person's success. It's about rewriting the rules of what's possible. First up, she's shown that your past doesn't define your future. Everyone thought they knew exactly who she was and what she'd become, but she flipped that narrative completely. She took control of her story and rewrote it on her own terms. That's power right there. The way she's handled her wealth is a masterclass in itself. Instead of falling into the typical traps that catch young millionaires, she's building something sustainable. She's not just rich, she's creating wealth that could last generations. There's a huge difference between having money and building wealth, and she gets that. But here's what really sets her apart. She's not afraid to admit what she doesn't know. She's constantly learning, asking questions.
Because they feel like, well, I can't convince the people who really know me, so I can convince others of whatever narrative I want to play.
And surrounding herself with people who can teach her something new. In an age where everyone pretends to be an expert, that kind of humility combined with ambition is rare. She's also changing the conversation around success. It's not just about the numbers in your bank account. It's about building a life that actually means something. The way she balances being a mom, a businesswoman, and still staying true to herself, that's the kind of success story we need to see more of. And let's talk about resilience, because that's a huge part of her story. Every time critics thought she was done, she came back stronger. Not by clapping back or creating drama, but by elevating herself to a new level. That's how you turn doubters into believers. Listen, what we've witnessed here isn't just another success story. It's a complete paradigm shift in how we think about success, especially for young entrepreneurs in the digital age. The game has changed, and she's one of the main reasons why. Think about it. She's taken every stereotype, every criticism, every doubt people had about her, and turned them into stepping stones. That's not just impressive, that's revolutionary. And the best part? She's still just getting started. At her age, with her resources and mindset, the potential is literally unlimited. Here's what I want you all to take away from this. Success leaves clues. Whether you're a content creator, an entrepreneur, or just someone trying to level up in life, there are real lessons here. It's about being strategic, staying focused, and playing the long game. It's about knowing when to make noise and when to work in silence. But most importantly, it's about believing in your vision even when no one else does. Because let's be real, If someone had told you a few years ago that this story would turn out like this, would you have believed them? Probably not. But here we are. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about what surprised you most about this story. Are you shocked by the numbers? Impressed by the business moves? Let me know what you think. And if you found value in this breakdown, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications. We've got more incredible stories and deep dives coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Until next time, keep grinding, stay focused, and remember, your past doesn't define your future. Peace out.